Uh, this might be a little off topic, but all three of you have written, to one extent or another, romance in your stories. How did your significant others feel when they found out that you'd be writing something, writing a romantic scene? Was it, hey, page 83, that's me. Or is it, oh God, never look my significant other's friends in the eye again?
Well, for me, when I would read some of the stuff that Shannon wrote, I'd ask her, why did you tone it down for the book?
You totally walked into that. No, you change things enough that no one can, can identify what's going on personally. So it's definitely this is my writing, this is not my writing. That's how I do it.
Well, I could say that that little scenario that you just gave there ended up working in my favor. I had just finished the manuscript for Fat White Vampire Blues when I started dating my wife Dara, and after we had been out on a few dates, I asked her, would you like to read this novel that I just wrote? And she said, sure. And what she was thinking in the back of her mind was, please don't let it suck. Please don't let it suck. Because I handed her, a huge box like this thick of paper for her to read. And I had to tell her, there's some kind of unusual stooping. And she says, well, I'll read it and I'll see what I think. And the funny thing was, when we first started dating, she had, as soon as she met me, she pretty much decided, this is the one I'm going to go after. And the first thing she did was she went on a diet, not realizing that was, for me, the worst thing she could have done. So she read Fat White Vampire Blues with all of the crazy stooping and turned to me and said, Andy, I love you, I'm going off my diet.
Do you think that American writers, because we have such a multicultural, there's a representative of almost every modern, quasi-modern world culture in America, do you think it's easier for urban fantasy, etc., novelists in America, because we can write almost anything and say, yes, we have that in America, versus writers in other countries?
I don't know, I've never been a writer in another country.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be true. I can only imagine.
I would say, yeah, that would tend to be an advantage. Although you can also run into, I guess, some roadblocks in terms of, I guess, political correctness. Sometimes, and I think this is much less the situation in the world of fantasy and science fiction than it would be in the world of, say, quote unquote literary fiction. That a male Anglo-white writer would be accused of appropriating someone else's cultural heritage, by writing sort of outside their box. I really, I get the impression it's much less of a danger, so to speak, in our area of literature than it is in literary fiction.
Yeah, there's such a great defense for it when you go, this is make-believe, right? I mean, it's not meant to be taken seriously. That's why there's little fairies with wings flying around it. Although I have had people who have accused me of that. I'm not sure that you should use. I'm not sure that you should use the Nagloshi. That's a Native American thing, and I had to look back at him and go, but I'm writing make-believe. And aside from the fact that I did at least 1/16 Native American in my family, although it gets really dicey around the great-grandma who was a prostitute. You know, so does that mean I can use it? Because that seems sort of silly. It doesn't really have any bearing. But political correctness is one of those things that I like. It makes a crunching sound as I go
I won't claim to have been an urban fantasy writer, just an urban fantasy GM. But
same thing, man. You're telling a story.
One of the things that, I mean, yeah, it's an advantage to have all the cultures to draw on, but one of the drawbacks that you get in America looking at that sort of stuff is the lack of our own personal deep culture the way some other cultures do. I mean, Neil Gaiman kind of addressed that in American Gods. It's not, there's some really great urban fantasy out there. The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm, which is a juvenile fiction book set in Zimbabwe about warring spirits between different clans in Zimbabwe and the neighboring nation, and they're just really rich, just based on their own tradition. So it's just throwing that out there.
Well, with the idea that we don't have our own, we don't have our own centuries and centuries and centuries old developed native to us folklore.
Right.
Yeah,
so
we've got the folklore appropriate. Oh, we take all the best stuff from everywhere else.
It's called a melting pot.
Like your salad bar. Yeah, like the language itself, really.
Right.